Welcome to the GAMERamble video review for Guns, Gore and Cannoli, narrated by me, Darkcloud. As always, the full text version of this review can be found on the GAMERamble website linked below. The TLDR for Guns, Gore and Cannoli is that players get to take on the mob, the military and the undead in this Mafia-themed 2D shooter. Playing as a mob enforcer named Vinny, this game unleashes players on a city that has been overrun by the living dead. A large arsenal of weapons makes for a fun shooter, but the controls are a little stiff and the adventure is sadly short-lived. Nevertheless, the game does have its moments and provides plenty of mayhem while it lasts. Gameplay receives a 7 out of 10. Shooting zombies in the head is always fun. Graphics receives an 8 out of 10. The art style is detailed and unique. Sound receives an 8 out of 10. The music and one-liners make it sound like a Mafia B-movie. The overall score for Guns, Gore and Cannoli is 7.7 out of 10. And now for the full review. Guns, Gore and Cannoli is a 2D shooter set in the 1920s, and we assume that the title refers to the things that the protagonist Vinny loves most in the world. Vinny is a mob enforcer, and with prohibition in full swing, he has plenty to keep himself busy. However, his latest mission is a little different, as he is hired by the Belushio family to rescue another mobster from a rival family in Thugtown. Vinny hops on a boat and makes the trip, but discovers to his disgust that the whole town has been overrun by zombies. This complicates his mission somewhat, but also allows him to indulge in his favorite things, so it's not all bad. Not a lot of games are set in the 1920s, especially not ones of the 2D side-scrolling shooter variety, so Guns, Gore and Cannoli immediately catches the eye. It features a vibrant hand-drawn art style that is packed with detail. Vinny, as well as the other mobsters that he encounters, are all walking Mafia movie stereotypes. The game also features an assortment of undead adversaries, ranging from the slow and shambling to the fast and furious. Some of them even wield weapons, and then there's also the military and giant sewer-dwelling rats to contend with later in the game. These enemies can quickly overwhelm Vinny as they attack in numbers, but fortunately the living and undead will also clash with each other. Of course, players can also even the odds a little by inviting up to 3 friends to join them. This makes things a lot easier, as players who die can respawn on the spot instead of back at a checkpoint. Upon release of the game, the downside was that the co-op was local only, but thanks to Steam Remote Play Together, this is no longer an issue. Even alone, Vinny is capable of holding his own thanks to the arsenal at his disposal. Although he starts with a gun that is weak but has unlimited ammunition, there are ample opportunities to acquire more firepower. These range from shotguns and Tommy guns to flamethrowers and rocket launchers, but their ammo is unfortunately limited. Weapons are not of the single-use variety though, so you'll keep whatever you found and can reuse them again as soon as you pick up more ammo. The same goes for explosives, as Vinny can lob both grenades and Molotov cocktails. If all else fails, Vinny can even kick his foes, but this move is best saved for breaking down doors, keeping zombies at bay while reloading, and knocking enemies off platforms. You also want to ensure that you have enough ammo for the bigger weapons, as the game features a few boss battles. Vinny's mission will take him from the Thugtown harbour through the outskirts and back alleys of the city, as well as locations like a strip club, sewer, secret lab and construction site. There are 12 levels in total, and they all look great. It's hard to stop and admire the scenery of the hordes of zombies trying to bite your head off, but the visuals are definitely impressively detailed. The game also has some nice visual touches, such as doors, windows and cars that can be destroyed. Guns, Gore and Cannoli doesn't have a lot of visual options though, and players can only adjust things like the aspect ratio or resolution. The audio is quite impressive, with plenty of authentic sounding Italian style tunes playing in the background. Vinny is quite a talkative guy too, and has plenty of comments to make while shooting everyone in sight. He sounds exactly like we'd expect an exaggerated mafia stereotype would talk, as do the other mobsters who cross his path. Also, the sound effects are good, and there's plenty of variety. The game allows players to adjust the sound, cutscene and music volume separately, or switch on subtitles if the Italian accents are too thick for their ears. Controls is unfortunately one area where Guns, Gore and Cannoli falters a little bit. Not only can Vinny only shoot in the direction that he's facing, but he can also only shoot left or right. Compared to other platform shooters that offer 360-degree shooting with a mouse, this obviously feels very limiting. We also recommend playing the game with a decent controller, especially if others are joining in on the campaign and want to battle it out in the fun but shallow versus mode. Guns, Gore and Cannoli is not a very lengthy game, but with 4 difficulty options it can provide a challenge to players of all skill levels. The story and setting are unique, and there's even a couple of twists along the way. The fact that the game just features running and gunning does mean it becomes somewhat repetitive after a while, but at least there's plenty of variety when it comes to locations and enemies. Would have liked it if Vinny was a little more nimble and able to shoot in more than 2 directions, but this adds to the old school feel of the game. Guns, Gore and Cannoli is not a game that players will keep returning to after completing it, but it's certainly worth a playthrough or two. Thanks for joining me for this Guns, Gore and Cannoli PC review. Remember to like, subscribe and share. Until next time.